Hi everyone. Wow, my hair's a mess. Okay. Hi everyone. I'm Benna. This is Benna Books, and today I'm going to talk to you about some of the books that I've finished reading while I was out of town. I brought my hold on. I brought my Kindle with me. Eee. Here's one of the books I've read, Isaac Asimov's Robot Visions. Look at that robot. A lot of the books I've read were about robots or some sort of artificial intelligence because I'm sort of on a kick. Really interested in robot science fiction and technology and artificial intelligence and computers and all kinds of interesting stuff. Let me see. Okay, I read Isaac Asimov's Robot Visions. Actually, I finished it. I've been reading it for a little while. But it's a short story collection by Isaac Asimov. It isn't one of his novels. Let's see, how many pages was it? There are 482 pages, and I was probably halfway done when I started it, so I read maybe 250 pages. Let me see. Okay, there's that one. Sorry, I'm going to have to be careful how I show these to you. I've got a lot of books on here that I haven't read yet, and I don't want to show you all of those. Let me see. I read Silently and Very Fast by Catherynne and Valente. I think that's her name. And let me see if I can't show you what that looks like. Silently and Very Fast. It is I think it's a novella. Anyway, it's a short novel anyway. It's basically about a smart house that gains what we would consider as human beings a kind of a personality, personality, personhood, that sort of thing. I think it's described as waking up in the story, and there's a recurring theme of being asleep and waking up. Let me see, what else can I say about it? It's really a piece of science fantasy. It is not a hard science fiction book. It's not even really a technology-based science fiction book. It's really fairy tale retelling. Okay, it's about this computer intelligence that's a smart house, but it's also about different retellings of different sorts of historical myths, like the Golem, the Tin Man, the different kinds of artificial beings from history or from fairy tales and mythologies and folk tales and stuff like that. So it's not focused on basically what goes into artificial intelligence. Like, you're not going to learn how to make a robot or how to have a functioning smart house. It's really not technical, and the language is very lyrical, very some people would call it purple language, which means it's really flowery. I really like her style, but for some people it gets boring, especially if you're looking for something that's hard science fiction. This is not that book. So just so that you're aware, if you're looking for something that it isn't, it will probably be a disappointment. But it is what I consider science fantasy. It kind of blurs the line between the two genres. Alright, I also read The Lifecycle of Software Objects by Chiang. It was funny. It's a funny read. A lot of it is really endearing and cute, and I thought the premise was interesting. The premise is, if you're my age or even a little bit older, you might remember, when was it? It might have been in the 90s, maybe the early 90s. I'm not exactly, well, mid 90s, I think. When all different kinds of toy companies were coming out with virtual pets, like there were nano pets and there were giga pets. I don't remember the names of other ones. No, those are the only two I remember, giga pets and nano pets. They really interested a lot of people, and they were lots of fun. This story, I don't know if you'd consider it a short novel or a novella, and it's not telling me how many pages are in this book right now. Goodness. So, it's not a really long read. It seems to go really fast, mostly because I think it's something to do with the style of the book. Goodness, let me see, cover. Here we go. The life cycle of software objects. You see, if I can't show you the main picture, this. There you go. Isn't that cute? That's a robot with an umbilical cord. I thought that was cute. Okay. The only thing that I can say about this book that I really did not like, well, there were two things. There is a romance in here, but it's kind of, it's supposed to be a subplot to the main plot, but to me, it seems like it was completely unnecessary. It didn't add anything to the story. I know some people have to have some romance in their books, but if it's a romance that's integral to, integral? Is that even am I saying that right? Integral. Why does it sound so weird? Anyway, that's necessary to the whole story. If it's a romance that has some importance, then I understand it and can go along with it and even appreciate it. But the romance in this book seemed like it was added on later. Like somebody advised the author that there needed to be a little bit of romance in there somewhere, and they kind of just went back and stitched it in. It doesn't seem like it's really connected to any part of the main story, which is about these artificial intelligences that are kind of like nano pets or gigapets. They're so cute. I would suggest that you read it just because it's the cutest thing. I mean, you really don't think of, well, maybe some of them. I don't generally think of robots or artificial intelligences as primarily cute. I have one exception. The Now robot. It's a real robot. It looks so much like a little kid. It's anyway, but yeah, there's some talk about why these artificial intelligences are as cute as they are, and how they get along with human beings and how that whole thing works out is really interesting. I would read it if I were you. I'd give it a 3.5 stars if I could on Goodreads. I think I gave it a 4 because I'm generous, but it would be a 3.5. I didn't really particularly appreciate the romance, and there was quite a bit of talk of sexual politics as far as an artificial intelligence and its possible need to be a sexual being, or what it would look like as a sexual being, what that would mean. There's this whole really complicated discussion of the the sexual nature of human beings, which I think would have benefited from maybe a look at the asexual community of human beings. There are human beings who are identified as asexual, and yeah, I'm not going to go on my soapbox for that. I'm going to try to stay away from that. There were a few things in here that irritated me, I'll just say that. Okay, so 3.5 stars, 4 stars if I'm in a good mood. Let me see. Okay, so, did I say? Okay, robot visions, silently and very fast, life cycle of software objects. I got to the very end of He, She, and It by Marge Piercy, which is a telling and a retelling of the golem myth. For anybody who doesn't know what a golem is, it's variously an entity made of stone or clay or some other kind of mineral-based life form that is brought to life through Kabbalic ritual or through magic. So this is a retelling. He, She, and It is a retelling that involves a cyborg, which does have an organic component, and a young woman who who at first, I should say, works for an international company. I believe she was working in technology, if I remember correctly. It was a while ago when I first started it, so some of it's still disjointed. I might have to reread it at some point. Alright, so I'm sorry I'm rambling. The only physical book that I got through was this one, Isaac Asimov's Foundation and Empire. You will notice that I am on an Isaac Asimov kick. I loved this book. This book was fun. Foundation, for most people, is a dry read. It's very cerebral. It's about a fictional psychology. So, this book was really interesting, though. It was a lot of fun. Foundation I found to be a little bit difficult to get through. I did read it all. I liked it. It just wasn't. It was more of a dry read. This one has more action in it. This one has a little bit of romance in it, which was important to the plot. And it has this awesome character. You'll see he kind of looks like a knave or a fool or a Joker type character. He reminds me a lot of the Joker from Batman. He's got that kind of trickster personality. Or Loki would be another example of the trickster personality. I would highly suggest reading this book. You'd have to read Foundation first to understand kind of what's going on. I think there's a little bit of a summary in the beginning, so you could probably skip Foundation, but I wouldn't do it. Don't lynch me, okay? I'm not saying that anyone should ever skip an Isaac Asimov book. Don't skip Foundation. Read Foundation first. But if you can't get a hold of it for some reason, it's okay if you read this one all by itself. Okay, this is an awesome book. Okay, I don't know what else I can say about it except that it was a lot of fun to read. It was lots of fun, and the villain really turns out to be the main character in this story. But he's kind of awesome. He's really someone that you can sympathize with until like the very end when you figure out really how evil he is. But he was a lot of fun. Okay. It's like the Joker, you know? You're not supposed to think it's cool. You're not supposed to think he's funny. But he kind of is. Okay? You're really supposed to be rooting for Batman, but the Joker's just kind of cool. Okay? There he is. And I don't... Okay, they call him the Mule. Okay, the mule. And there's a reason they call him the mule, and you have to read to find out why that is. Okay, so those are all the books I've read. And right now, I am working on reading, oh my gosh, hold on. Okay, The Wind-Up Girl by Paulo I don't even know how to say his last name. Bacigalupi. I don't know how to say that, sorry. And let me see, what else? Yeah, I'm reading that one right now. And I'm going to read To Say Nothing of the Dog by Connie Willis. And I am going to read Grass by Sheri S. Tepper, which I should have read last month, but I got caught up with all my robots. My robots are so much fun. And I am still working on A Game of Thrones. I'm like on page 60. And last book, I'm reading Never Let Me Go, which is an alternate history science fiction book, which I'm finding difficult to get through. I'm on page like 110, The chapters are pretty uniform. They're like each 10 or 15 pages. So I think it's 111 or 110. Yeah. Okay. So it's like chapter 8, something like that. So, and it's a little bit of a slow read for me. I'm not sure why that is. Probably because of the historical element. I'm not a really big not really a big reader of historical fiction in general, so science fiction that is alternate history is not always my favorite. I also want to read Methuselah's Children by Robert Heinlein and Children of Hephaestus by Liliy, I think. It's Liliy. I think you still say it Lily. It's just spelled a little differently. Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm reading. I always change what I'm reading, so that my reading list may change. I was reading The Moon is a Harsh Mistress by Robert A. Heinlein, but I might put it down for a little while. It's difficult to read because there's a kind of dialect going on that I'm just not getting into. And it's really not an ornate dialect. It's just a little bit irritating for me to read. Alright, I'm going to stop talking now. This is a super long video and it should not have been. I will be uploading another video, much shorter, about the Festival of the Book in Charlottesville, Virginia. That will be occurring March 19th through the 23rd. I will be there, and I'll tell you all about that in another video. I'll say bye now. Sorry, this is so long. Bye.